Still setting up YouTube here. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. We're still a little bit early. Wait a few minutes for everybody to pop in before we get started. Well, so how are we doing today? Thanks for the likes. Don't forget to share the live so we can get more people in here. A lot of people tend to forget, that it starts at 2 o'clock and people show up late and miss the beginning and all that good stuff. So thanks for the likes, Samantha. Good to see you're smiling. And it's 2 o'clock. We got a few people on YouTube as well. So, hey, what's up from San Diego? Yeah, go San Diego. Thanks for the likes, Sarah. Yeah, it's a nice day here in Florida. How's the weather in San Diego? Is it nice out there today? Oh. And then we got Happy Tuesday. Thanks, Samantha. In case you haven't noticed, I'm not in my office today. I'm actually down in the Slayer fishing office. It's a client of mine. I used to own Slayer fishing tackle. I started it for my dad back in '99 and sold it a few years ago. I still help the owner out with some stuff. So anyway, I'm down here today doing some work, but still the same content. So. So we'll wait just a couple minutes. Thanks for the follow there, Ryan. Appreciate follows, shares, likes. Gifts are always nice. Of course, don't forget, I pinned the the book, um, we'll be talking about it a little bit today. One of my books. It's not pinned in the on YouTube, but it's pinned on TikTok. So it's yeah, they lied about SEO, and I published it last year after Google came out with the AI update that hit people hard. But I'm telling you, it's more true now than ever with the Nexus update. And I wasn't planning on doing another SEO um, report so soon because I just did one a few weeks ago. But when I saw what happened with the search results after the Nexus update, I had to dig into it because I'm like, what on earth happened? Because, like, so one of my clients had a site. It had been around for a few years, but it had been really neglected. It had absolutely no traffic. Oh, hang on. Yeah, kicked off TikTok. The site had been neglected. It had gone through some updates. It was so bad that you couldn't, because of updates, you couldn't even see the menu buttons to navigate. So it was bad. Zero traffic. So I took the site over, and when I went to do his 90-day update, it happened to be literally just see, Nexus happened between December 17th and 29th. It was final on December 29th. And I did the 90-day update for this guy on December 27th. So just before Nexus was finalized. And it takes about a month for Google to index anything. 4 to 6 weeks. So, which, keep in mind, anybody tells you that they're going to do anything in less than a month, run. Because if they tell you they're going to do something in less than a month, it is not anything that Google is going to appreciate. And once Google finds it, they're going to penalize you for it. So it's not something that you want. You don't want it because they tell you they're going to do something in less than a month. It's not going to be good for your site in the long term. And I've seen sites that Google blacklists and they have to just abandon the site and start over. So anyway, it takes 4 to 6 weeks to even start seeing traffic. And by the end of the second month, we'd gone from 0 to about 4,000 views a month. And we were holding steady around 4,000 views, which is about normal. And I was seeing towards the end of the third month, we were creeping, just over 4,000. So that was good. Customer and I were happy. But then, beginning of January, I noticed it jumped to over 6,000. So that's when I started digging in to find out what went on with this Nexus update. Turns out the Nexus update, most sites were hit with a 70 to 90% loss in traffic. I went through all my sites looking at them, and I saw 50% or better increase in traffic across the board. So I had to dig into, well, what was the Nexus update? What was it looking for? Because prior to that, the only real big update that Google did was back in the 90s when Google started reading your emails to start looking at conversations to try to, better determine what you're really looking for. So, um, in the middle of 2025, they came out with an AI update, which hit a lot of people really hard because, again, they were trying to work against Google, and they were still doing keyword stuffing. Um, they, which is where you're just shoving keywords in in places where they don't belong. They don't read right, and they don't flow in normal conversation. And but Google couldn't read that. So when Google started using AI to actually read the web pages, people lost a lot of traffic. But it was like a 30, maybe 50% traffic loss last year. Mine all went up. So when I saw people losing 70 to 90% and mine all went over 50% up, I had to dig into what was this? Because this is a serious bloodletting. Um, and most people are still scratching their head. They don't really don't understand. Part of why, I mean, okay, I have to tell you, I have worked hand in hand with Google for years. I've worked with Google from the day it came out. So I kind of have a back door to Google, and you know, not I'll just leave it at that. So I know a little bit more about what's going on with Google than most people do. So at the end of the day, Google is trying to give, when somebody comes to search, Google's trying to give the person doing the search the best job they can at what you're most likely searching for. That's it. They want to do a good job. So they know that people are tired of AI posts. They're sick and tired of people posting stuff that it's AI fodder. They know that people don't want that. They want genuine, real stuff. And so at the end of the day, what Nexus was all about was a way to determine if the person that's doing the posting, writing the article, is real. And there's been a huge shift in authority that in how Google looks at things. SEO used to be about, your keywords and your backlinks. That's what it used to be. But again, that changed in the 90s. And that's what you used, keywords and backlinks, to get first position on Google or whatever search engine you're using. Well, that changed in the 90s. But marketing firms are still talking about that. They're still using keywords and backlinks and talking about getting you on the first page of Google. Guess what? If you're talking about keywords and backlinks and first page of Google, Google has been trying to get you out of the game for more than a decade, because they know that if you're using keywords and backlinks for first page results, you are not trying to give the person doing the search what the person is after. Not to mention the fact that if somebody's doing a voice search or an AI search, voice and AI don't look at top results at all. They don't look there. That is not what they look at all. Period. So you're completely missing two sectors of traffic. Completely gone. You're missing it. And you know how much of the market has gone away from searching from this to searching from with voice. So if you think that you're going to get it all here, yeah, you've lost it. So again, Nexus is all about trying to determine if the person doing the post is a real person. Okay. So here's where it gets crazy. If you own the website, let's say you own I don't know, an electric company or an HVAC. Okay. You're an air conditioning contractor. Okay. So you own an air conditioning company and you have a website and you do a post. So from a 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, you actually go on your website and you write an article, and then you go on your different social media posts and you post it. Okay. You would think that Google would look at that and give you a 10 across the board. They don't. Because while you're the business owner and you're the website owner, they know that you are probably not real dominant on the internet. So, and people on the internet probably don't really know who you are. So somebody that's coming on the internet and doing a search, regardless of how they do the search, may or may not really be looking for your answer. So you're going to get somewhere between a 6 and 8, depending on how active you are. That's what you get. But the thing of it is, you're busy running a company. You're running a company. So chances are you're going to have somebody in your office write that post anyway. Well, Google's going to look at that and they can tell the difference between your voice and somebody else's voice because they read it. And when they tell a difference, guess what? Where you're getting a 6 to 8, they're going to get a 5 or 6. It goes down. Even though it's coming from the same office, same company, same website. So you hire a big marketing firm because that's what they do for a living. And they charge you thousands of dollars. Promise you big results. And they used to be able to give you results. Well, because Google knows they're cranking out a whole bunch of stuff. I'll just say stuff. And they know all that stuff is all coming from the same office, same IP address. Google is going to give them, depending on the quality of their content, maybe a 4 to 6. Maybe. They're definitely not going to get the 6 to 8 that the business owner would get. They might get a 4 to 6. Maybe. If it's good. And if you go and hire somebody on Fiverr, or, well, let's say hire some kid at the high school, okay? He's still in the same country, okay? It's still a lower quality content. It's just going to drop a point or two. You hire somebody on Fiverr that's in Bangladesh, you're going to get a 1 or 2 because now it's not even from the same country. And if any of those people, regardless, if Google can see that any of that content is AI, it might drop a point or two. It might drop all the way down. Um, it just depends on the quality of the content. It's not that you can't use AI. Um, you can. You just have to be really careful with it. Um, hey, Tamara, thanks for popping in there. So you might ask, what on earth is the solution? Because again, what the whole Nexus thing was about establishing authority online of who who is real. Because Google is trying to eliminate all of the AI garbage. So you say, well, what is the answer? What do I do? And here's something that I didn't know because remember, I'm a marketing firm. So you might ask, well, why did all of my stuff go up? I'll tell you why. There's two reasons. One reason is the strategies that I use because I've never done the whole keyword backlink thing for page one because that is not what Google is after. It's not. They're about conversation. They, in all of your voice search, Alexa, all of that, they want dominance. The strategies that I use go after the first 3 pages of search. So even if somebody's competed against me and they're in top position, I'm going to have the next 3 pages. So when your customers come to search, they might see first position, somebody, your competitors there, and you're going to have the next 3 pages. Who do you think they're going to call? Are they going to call the one person that has one post in first position, or are they going to call you that has all the next 3 pages covered? I'll tell you what Alexa will do. I'll tell you what Siri will do. I'll tell you what any voice search will do. When they look at that information, they are going to ignore first, second, third, any of that. They're going to look at the what they consider the authority, the fact that it covers page after page. They consider that authority because you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here. You're on so many sites. You're now the authority. Which leads me to number 2, why all of my sites went up. I began to see something a few months ago when I would do my research for my news posts that I do every morning. A lot of times, not a lot of times, every now and then when I would be doing research, sometimes when I would do research on something, some of the information that would come up, I would recognize as information that I had posted on a website. And I was like, that's interesting. Why is my post considered such an authority right up there with all these other information sites? And here's what I found out. Because all of your search engines and AI, one of the things that they look at when you're a published author, you go up a notch because you have a book with an ISBN number. Okay. And maybe it's on Amazon. Well, when you have a book and it's on Amazon and then it's in Barnes and Nobles and Books A Million and bookstores all around the world, you go up another notch. Well, when you have 15 books, I think, 16. I don't know. It's more than a dozen books on a variety of topics that are on Amazon, Books a Million, Barnes and Nobles, all these different, I mean, they're literally all over the globe. Now, when Google, Edge, Yahoo, Alexa, regardless of where you're searching, when they come across a post that has my name attached to it, and I'm not doing this in a bragging thing because I didn't even know this, they see my name as an authority, like a stamp, like a major news channel, because I have been recognized by so many places with these ISBN numbers, and because you can't just go and do that overnight. Okay, so here's the thing: when I do SEO work for a client, when I go in and I write your posts, and I do your posts, and I put them on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, I spin them out there. When Google looks at that post, when you as the owner might get a 6 or 8 in authority to Google, when I do the post, Google's going to give that an 8 or a 10. Same post. Because Google's going to look at my writing style. They're going to look at my thumbprint. And they're going to say, we know who this guy is. This guy is labeled, I'm not going to call myself an authority. This guy is labeled as an authority on so many topics, by so many industries, by so many, Amazon, Books a Million, Barnes and Noble. I mean, I can't really say that I did it. I mean, I wrote the books. I got another one I'm getting ready to publish, working on the cover art, I got one I'm working on that I'm just waiting, for an IPO to come out. It's like on a gag order right now. I can't release the book because one of the guys in the book is going through an IPO, so he's on a gag order, so I can't release the book right now, Otherwise it would have already been published, So, struggles as an author. Yeah, Leslie, I mean, it makes a difference who's doing the posts. It really does. And, my thing, for those of you that know me, I have a passion for creating wealth. Not just for myself, for other people. I've mentored so many people. I've helped create millionaires. That's, nothing makes me happier than to watch somebody step into themselves and into their life of being able to walk into a life of wealth, of being able to enjoy life and no longer struggle for a living. Because when I say a life of wealth, it's not just about having money, but being able to enjoy life where you can enjoy your family, you can enjoy your time. I worked with a guy once that was he's a real estate broker, and he was stuck driving 90 mile an hour to get nowhere. Yeah, this guy was stuck at 12 million a year after year, couldn't get past it. And he kept scheduling meetings and canceling them. I said, listen, dude, if you don't want to meet, we don't have to meet. He's like, no, it's not that, man. Dude, I'm so busy. And he showed me his shoes. Nice shoes. But he showed me the bottom. Literally had holes in the bottom of his shoes. He's like, dude, I'm so busy. I don't even have time to buy new shoes. I have the money. I don't have the time. I'm like, dude, you don't need marketing. You need other help. I spent 2 months with the guy. The next year, he did 20 million. The next year, 30 million. The next year, 50 million. But here's the thing. It wasn't just the increase in revenue. Every time I would see him after that, he went from not having time to buy shoes to he's taking his kids out on the boat. He's taking his kids to Disney. That was the difference. The difference in the quality of life. He went from killing himself to living life. That's what I have a passion for. So, why does this matter when it comes to SEO? It matters because we live in a digital world. And it doesn't matter what kind of business you have. Chances are people are going to find you online. And if they can't find you online, that client that I just mentioned that on the 27th was just breaking $4,000 in traffic on his website, that 3 months ago was at zero. I checked in this morning, almost $7,000. Almost 7,000 views in the last 28 days. I haven't changed my strategies. I don't need to. My strategies have, I don't work against Google, so I don't have to change my strategies. Sure, I make adjustments a little bit, every now and then, but when you work with Google, Google rewards you. That's the difference. So, yeah, Nexus has been great for me. Absolutely great in two ways. All of my sites have just exploded. But two, Google is not just rewarding my sites because of my work, but Google is now rewarding me as an individual because of the work that I have done as an individual. So the fact that I own a marketing firm, now, if you hire me to do your online marketing, it's literally twice as effective. If you hire another marketing firm to do the exact same work that I do, Google sees it as twice as effective because of who Google sees me as online. So, well, thanks for being a big fan. It's it's been a long time getting here. I've put in a lot of work. But I've worked with Google for a long time. So, anyway, I'm more than happy to help anybody that I can. The book, They Lied About SEO. It's pinned there in the TikTok Live. It's available on my website, efgilbert.com, as a direct download. Um, you can get it on Amazon. Um, you can get you can get it in my TikTok shop. Um, I think it's available in most major bookstores at this point. So, yeah, and it goes through the basics, because if you want to do SEO yourself and you want to do a good job of it, it outlines what you can do, and if you do it yourself and do a good job, you're still going to be in that 6 to 8 range as far as points that you're going to get from Google. So the you know Google's always changing things. I mean, I remember back in the 90s, Twitter, which is now X, was one of the highest ranking priority sites to Google, because if you posted something on Twitter, it would get indexed, because again, links were important. Now, not so much. Now, or X is one of the lowest ranking social media sites. It has a weight of 3 according to Google. 3. Because it's just flooded with stuff. Google just doesn't see it as an authority. Um, I would like to see some interaction from you guys. I'd like to see you guys tell me. Thanks, Leslie. I appreciate all the likes. I would like you guys to take a guess as to what social media site you think Google carries as the heaviest weight to post on. And if anybody can guess it right, Google ranks it a 9. Okay, so if anybody can guess what social media site Google ranks as a 9, I will give you. I will send you my book for free. They lied about SEO. So fire away. If anybody can guess which social media site Google ranks as a 9, I'll send you my book for free. Any guesses? Facebook. Sorry, Leslie. It is not Facebook. You will be shocked when I tell you what Facebook is. Facebook is right there with X. I think Facebook is a 4 right now. It's a 3 or 4. I don't remember. But it's at the bottom. Instagram is higher than Facebook. Can we interact? What do you mean? Can we interact? Yeah. Um, well, it doesn't seem like anybody's getting any guess. Nobody's making any guesses except Leslie as to what's the people on here. Oh, yeah, nobody else is guessing. It is not TikTok. Honestly, so Google is just now beginning to look at TikTok. It doesn't rank TikTok yet. It looks at TikTok, but it does not currently rank TikTok. So it here here's where TikTok comes into play. MySpace, you're funny. TikTok carries weight, so to speak, because it shows Google that there is interaction and conversation, because it's there, and it shows authority that you're there. So if you have TikTok along with other things, it can help to carry weight. But because it's just now starting to look at TikTok, um, I don't think TikTok carries any weight at this point. It is starting to index Instagram, but in TikTok, um, and I should have printed out the index. But number 9, the the so the highest at number 10 is YouTube, of course, because that's a Google property. So number 10 is YouTube. Number 9, believe it or not, is Pinterest. Snapchat. Snapchat is not even listed. Yeah, because Snap just disappears. Good guess though. But number 9 um, is Pinterest, which is totally new to SEO. It has never even been something to consider for SEO. I've never even heard of anybody using it for SEO until the last couple of years. Um, it was a nothing. It used to be, at the bottom. Um, but because now Google is so concerned about trying to prove that you are a real individual and you can't really post to Pinterest from AI. Pinterest is unique. You post to Pinterest different from everything else. Posts on Pinterest really kind of prove that you're real. That's one reason why Pinterest carries so much weight. The second reason is when you post to Pinterest, it's there forever. So you can post to Pinterest with a description and with a URL, and it's organized by boards. And so Google really, really likes Pinterest. Go figure. Um, what what is really, really weird is on Instagram, you can you can put hashtags, you can put description, hashtags, and a URL on Instagram. And Instagram is it's middle of the road. Okay, Google likes Instagram way better than Facebook. Okay, and Instagram, the URLs are not clickable. They're not. Okay, and Instagram does not search hashtags.
Your deliveries here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I unwrapped it because I was gonna bring stuff inside,
Okay.
but then I was like, maybe I should go ask him, see where it was.
Okay. I'll come check it.
Okay.
So on Instagram, the URLs are not live, and Instagram does not search the hashtags. However, the hashtags are still searchable, as in when you're on Instagram, you can still do a search, and those hashtags are searchable, if that makes sense. Even though Instagram does not do anything with the hashtags, they're still beneficial. But Google looks at the hashtags and the URLs and can and will index an Instagram post based on the description, the URL, and hashtags, even though Instagram doesn't do anything with those. Um, you don't even know how to do a hashtag. Well, um, that's why you need somebody like me. Um, there's there's a right way, there's a wrong way. You should never use a hashtag for something that is not already in your content. Um, I mean, you can use a hashtag and it makes something searchable, okay? But as far as Google is concerned, if you put a hashtag on an article and that hashtag is not a word that is in your article, Google pushes it down. So you a keyword should be a word that is in the article, and then that keyword, because keywords are searchable, that keyword can be at the bottom of the article. The keyword is just, it has the hashtag before, because basically the phrase is scrunched together with hashtag. Okay. Um, but there's a whole, if you go to my website, if you go to my VisiBrand website, there's a tab for keywords, um, because there's keywords are so important. Um, I'll I'll give you an example. My wife, she does hair. She's got a couple salons, and I've done keyword research. Most businesses don't really understand how their ideal client searches for them. Most business owners have an idea of what their keywords are, and it is usually nowhere near how their ideal customer searches for them. Just not even close. So I offer keyword research, and there is a level of research that goes into just the discovery process of understanding what um uh okay um just understanding what their ideal client is thinking when they're searching, what their product is, what their ideal client is searching thinking, when they're searching. Then there's Google's um, algorithm called Google Suggest, where when you go to any search engine and you start to type something in, it literally starts suggesting what you might be searching for. Okay. That's called Google Suggest. So you'll take, you know, a couple different phrases, you'll put them in there, and you might end up with 700 different keyword phrases. And because most business owners, they think that somebody's searching like one or two words. Most people are searching 4 to 8 words in a phrase. Okay. So you're going to end up with, it could be like 700 words. And then you start drilling down into Google's keyword tool, where this actually tells you how many times a month those phrases are actually searched and what the competition level is on those words. Because even if you have a phrase that has traffic, if it has high competition, meaning everybody else is competing for that word, then you can throw all of your effort into that phrase and you're not going to get anything because everybody's after it. So you're going to get nothing because you're just a drop in the bucket. So why waste your money? You want to find keyword phrases that have traffic and low competition or no competition, because you can focus effort on that and there's traffic and you want to show up. So when people search those terms, they see you. That's what you want. That's my job, to help you find those keywords, because you really only need, you know, a few. You know, people think you need a whole bunch. You don't. You don't want a whole bunch. How much traffic do you want? I mean, if you find one word that's got 1,000 searches a month and you dominate, I mean, how much of that do you want? What if I give you 3 that have 1,000 searches a month? Can you handle that? So, anyway, any questions? Comments? A fake daycare. Somehow I knew you were going to tell me that. Figured it was either going to be a fake daycare or um, a protest. uh, well, you know where to find me, Leslie. Just let me know what you want me to do. So, well, as you guys heard, apparently I have a delivery here. 4 miles, huh? Yeah, I can't. The whole fraud thing up there is just unbelievable. And the whole payoff thing, you know, for to 1.5 million to Becca Good. I mean, that was rude. I'm sorry. Meanwhile, I don't know if you guys saw my news report. 12,000 protesters shot in Iran. I mean, we're throwing money at them, and they're getting shot. Um, no, Renee Good's the one that got shot. It was Becca Good. They gave a $1.5 million to. So, I mean, what do you expect when you go driving your car at people? I'm sorry, but it's just you know, and the way that the news spins things. I mean, it's just crazy. So, yeah, no politics. This is for SEO. There's enough politics out there. Well, if we don't have any questions, I'm gonna sign off and be sure to check out my books. There's the one on SEO that I pinned to the TikTok live. Um, I've got plenty on starting businesses and wealth building, but yeah, you can check out my TikTok shop. You can go to my main website efgilbert.com. You can go to Amazon, just search my name, Eric F. Gilbert. Most of my books are there. So, of course, Tamara, thank you for stopping by. So, thank you all, and I will see you guys next Tuesday.